Okay, we are live. ¿Qué tal, amigos? Stuart here from Spain Speaks with this evening's live stream, 7:40 p.m. It's the 11th of November, an important day, of course, the 11th of November, and we'll be taking a look at some of the main stories that have caught my attention in the press today in Spain. Other days as well, of course, but mainly today. Also, some comments that have been left on the channel in recent times by viewers. A very busy comment section normally, so we'll check out some of those, and we'll go into the live chat section here on the live stream at around the 20-minute mark of this evening's stream and see what's happening there. So if you are watching, say hello in the live chat, or if you've got something to say, express yourself in the live chat. We'll get straight into the news. And the big story today is this one here, and it is that Spain reaches a record population of 49.4 million people, driven, of course, by immigration. Spain's population reached an all-time high of 49.44 million people as of October the 1st, 2025, according to new figures from the National Statistics Institute. The increase of 105,488 residents in the third quarter and 474,454 over the past year is almost entirely due to immigration, as the number of people born in Spain continues to decline. Nearly 9.83 million residents were born abroad, close to 1 in 5 of the population. Of these, around 3 million have Spanish nationality. The number of foreign nationals rose by almost 79,000 in the quarter, surpassing 7.1 million, while the Spanish national population also rose slightly due to return migration. The largest groups arriving were from Colombia, Spain returnees, and Morocco. All regions registered population growth, with the fastest increases in Valencia, Aragon, and Castilla-La Mancha. The number of households also rose, reaching 9.68 million. So the population here in Spain continues to grow. As we can see there, the population, an all-time high, 49.44 million people, thanks in large part to immigration, people coming from other parts of the world to seek a better life here in Spain or try to make ends meet, because maybe where they come from it's difficult. Other people come here for the sun, other people come here for the culture, people coming to Spain for different reasons, but the population continues to grow. But of course not for the local population, where decline is the issue there. But Spaniards are returning. They obviously think that the economy is going well wherever they have been over the last decades or years, coming back to Spain and trying to make a living here. So the population continues to grow. Good news or bad news? Let me know in your opinion in the comment section below. Second piece of news here, and Mr. Feijóo, the leader of the main opposition party here in Spain, has named Pérez Llorca, as successor to Mr. Mazón in Valencia amid talks with Vox. The leader of Spain's Popular Party, the PP, Alberto Núñez Feijóo, has nominated Juan Francisco Pérez Llorca as the candidate to become the next president of the Valencian government, following the resignation of Carlos Mazón. Pérez Llorca, 49 years of age, is currently spokesperson for the PP in the Valencian Regional Parliament, Mayor of Finestrat, Alicante, and Secretary General of the Valencian PP. He is considered Mazón's closest political ally. Mazón stepped down last week after facing anger from relatives of victims of last year's deadly Dana flooding during the state funeral. Feijóo's swift decision comes as negotiations with Vox intensify, as their support will be necessary to secure the investiture vote. Pérez Llorca said he accepts the challenge and aims to restore stability to the region, promising a period of serious and responsible dialogue followed on recovery and reconstruction. So, serious and responsible dialogue is what I take from that article there, because that has been lacking in the Valencian community for the last year, with Mr. Mathon at the helm, of course, dodging questions about where he was on the day of the tragedy. It's all starting to come to light, and I expect Mr. Mathon to be struggling to hold a position as any type of politician going forward, given some of the information that's coming to light about why he didn't go to where he should have been on the day of that dana. Apparently the lunch that he was at was more important, and as I said, this information now starting to come out because the judge is searching for clues and questions on this matter. So Mr. Mathon's successor, virtually a carbon copy of the same, but of course Vox will be necessary to form a government in that part of Spain going forward, as they have been in the past, I think, Vox. The next article here, this one here, in Spain's closer ties with China seen as anomaly by EU partners. Spain's diplomatic approach to China is raising concern among several EU member states who view Madrid, or the central Spanish government, as increasingly out of step with the broader European stance. The visit of King Felipe VI and Queen Letizia to China, including a dinner with President Xi Jinping, has intensified unease among European partners such as Germany, France, Italy, and the Netherlands. These countries are currently tightening controls on Chinese investments and supply chain influence, citing risks to strategic industries. Italy has called for a unified EU position to counter China's industrial threat. Germany is reviewing trade policy. The Netherlands has moved to nationalize the microchip firm Nexperia. And France has recently launched inspections and investigations into companies including Shein, AliExpress, and Temu. In contrast, Spain's more open engagement is viewed by some EU officials as an anomaly within the bloc's evolving China strategy. So China and Spain, best buddies at the moment, it seems. The King and Queen currently on a trip there. We saw the state dinner put on by Mr. Xi Jinping for the Spanish royal couple. And some tensions growing in the European Union, because the European Union is trying to stop the influence of China, especially when it comes to the motor vehicle industry. Difficult thing to try to achieve that, but Spain going on its own path and trying to improve relations between the two countries, Spain and China, because according to the finance minister here, it's all about the trade deficit. Spain buys a lot more products from China than they export to China. They want to try to rectify that, and of course this is seen as a way to do it, sending the royals down there for a trip around China, promoting, and also Pedro Sanchez has been there quite a bit in recent times, chatting to his friend Xi Jinping. But some other European countries not happy, but Spain doesn't care. They're doing their own thing when it comes to China. And the fourth piece of news here, Spain orders nationwide confinement of poultry to contain avian flu spread. Spain will require all poultry in designated high-risk areas to be kept indoors from Monday the 10th of November, yesterday, as authorities attempt to contain the spread of avian flu. The Ministry of Agriculture has tightened its preventative measures following a rise in outbreaks across Europe and multiple cases detected in Spain, particularly in Andalusia, Castilla y León, Galicia and Catalonia, where 224 municipalities are affected. The measures include confining birds, reinforcing biosecurity, preventing contact with wild birds, and restricting mixed species breeding, especially of ducks and geese. The decision follows similar orders recently adopted in Ireland, France and the UK. Since July, the EU has recorded 139 outbreaks in poultry and 708 in wild birds. In Spain, there have been 14 outbreaks in farms this season, with Valladolid the worst affected. Producers say the situation is contributing to higher egg prices, which have risen by around 16% this year. So bad news for chicken and egg lovers, people that like to crack an egg in the morning for their breakfast or for their lunch or for their dinner, and also people that like to have chicken, myself included, most likely we'll be seeing rises in the price of those products in upcoming weeks and months with this avian flu outbreak. Eggs already expensive, up 16% this year as we saw there. And I think in the last 4 or 5 years, we're talking almost double the price that we're paying for eggs here now. I think you pick up 6 eggs, the cheapest variety, for around €1.80 or something like that at my local supermarket at least. And if you want to buy a dozen, you're looking at over €3 in many cases now for eggs. So a necessity for many household kitchens, eggs and chicken also. So not good news for people that like those 2 products. We'll look at some comments that have been left on the channel in recent times by viewers, starting with this one here from NYCH Fan. Thank you for the latest news, I suppose this is. We also have problems with tourists not following rules, mostly tourists from other parts of the country, the United States. My condolences to the families of those injured. I love your background photo. It looks like California. And I love the flowers planted on the trunk of the palm tree. Thanks, NYCH Fan. The latest news, tourists not following the rules. We saw the other day that this was an issue in Santa Cruz, or Puerto de la Cruz, I think it was, in Tenerife, not in Santa Cruz, but it was on the island of Tenerife. Puerto de la Cruz, some French tourists, I think there was the nationality, disobeyed the warning signs and the chains that were put up, stopping people from going close to the water's edge onto the pier or the wharf or whatever it was down there. And of course, a huge wave came over the top and washed them off the rocks into the ocean. 3 people, I think, died. Another 6 people in a critical condition, but 14 or 15 people in total. Many were rescued, of course, by the locals that jumped into the water to save the lives of the tourists and not heeding the warnings. Whether it's a language issue, I don't know. But if there are violent sea conditions in places like the Canaries, probably better to get out of the way rather than trying to take that well, I was going to say once in a lifetime snap for Instagram, but maybe the last photo that you'll ever take for social media, trying to get that picture. So be careful, heed the warnings, and listen to what locals are, or follow what locals are doing. If you don't see people there, don't go there. That's the simple rule here, I think. One here from Paul. Well done, Stu. True pro with your IT difficulty today. Thanks for your continued news update and content. Thanks, Paul, for the comment. Yes, I had an IT issue the other day. The sound wasn't coming out of this microphone here. So this is what they call a broadcast quality microphone. The sound is quite good. If you use the computer sound that I have here, it's a little bit echoey because I'm quite a way away from the computer. So it's not the best sound, and it took me a few minutes to work it out, what was wrong. I think it had something to do with a magnet that was on the device here. Might have been stopping the signal from getting through. I don't know, but I fixed the issue, and today, perfect sound as we can hear here. One from Adolfo, yummy. We love Peruvian food. My favorite dishes are ceviche and lomo saltado with that delicious ají sauce. Thanks, Adolfo, for the comment. I went to a Peruvian restaurant the other day and tried the now world-famous sandwich or roll, whatever you want to call it, which was recently voted on social media as the best breakfast in the world. Maybe in Spanish-speaking countries only. I don't know where this survey took place, but it was on social media, and one of the big Spanish influencers put the question out there. And the pan con chicharrón, which is basically pork belly roll with some other ingredients as well, and those Peruvian flavors. And I must say that I do enjoy Peruvian food. I don't eat it enough. I don't think I should go more often to Peruvian restaurants. I love the food, and that roll was spectacular, how tender the meat was. And the combination of flavors. I'm reminding myself of it now. Lovely. Wickler is another one here with a comment, another person with a comment. I love that industrial estates have such good eating options. Where I'm from, industrial estates typically only have fast food options. Thanks, Wickler, for the comment. Yeah, where I come from as well, you normally find only fast food options around industrial areas. Here, you get a mix, I would say. You get the traditional places that are, getting business from the workers in the area, all of the companies that are operating there as well, business people coming through, having lunch in these restaurants, and of course, you do get fast food options as well in some of these industrial areas, depending on where they are and how big they are, of course. But normally you get a good meal in an industrial area because lunch here is important. It's the most important meal of the day, and people, when they knock off work at 2, for their lunch break, they want a 3-course meal if they can get one for a decent price, and that's why there's lots of good restaurants. And my advice to many people, if you see an industrial area, look for a restaurant because it's going to have a decent quality meal for a decent quality price, as I have discovered on my travels around the country. Thanks, Wickler, for that. One here from David. I recently read a statistic that 70% of the population occupy 30% of the landmass in Spain. Don't know how true that is, but anyone traveling through Spain can see that there are huge areas with very sparsely populated. We travel the route de la Plata frequently, and there is very little traffic on the roads, and most of the towns and villages are like ghost towns with very few people out and about. It seems the young people must migrate to the large town and cities for work. Yes, absolutely, that is the case. Young people going to other cities and towns here in Spain, trying to find a job, trying to find a way to put money on the table, of course. And that is the issue with a lot of these towns that become abandoned. Well, not 100% abandoned, some generations stick behind, but the young people abandon, of course, and go off. And it is true. I think that statistic that 70% of Spain's population live in urban areas. Was it, or what was it there? What was the exact statistic? Let me see there. 70% of the population occupy 30% of the landmass. I think that probably is the general case because the majority of people are living in cities or around cities, and the smaller towns, yeah, they do have populations, but dwindling populations, I would say. But again, it's the characteristic not only here in Spain, but a lot of other countries as well, I think, where the population struggle to maintain in certain places. And I go out every week to one of these small towns and villages not far from where I am, and you can see there's not a lot going on. And that's also something that makes young people leave because they want to be able to have activities to do, and maybe that they don't find them in those small towns. Now, background picture, we can see it here. This one was sent in by Noel, and it's a place called Mucha Vista. I think it's a town in Alicante, if I'm not mistaken. I think I looked it up on the map. That's where it was. Mucha Vista, Alicante, close to El Campello. And if you have a similar picture to Noel's that you would like to see on the backdrop, feel free to send them through. If you're living in Spain watching this video and you've got a nice view from your balcony, hop out, take a pic, send it through. spainspeaks@gmail.com is the email address there. Thank you very much. Like icon also on the screen. If you haven't hit it yet, please do so. Currently sitting at 54 likes, so we'll see if we can get up to a decent tally of likes today. So again, do us a favor, hit that like icon. You'll find it just below the video. If you're watching on a computer, on your phone, it's accessible as well. And on the TV, you've got to go into the settings, I think, to give a video a like. So please consider it. Completely free, won't cost you a thing. People that have supported the channel, here on the screen now, super thanks, super chat, buying me a coffee, Patreon supporters, thank you very much for that support, greatly appreciated. And also people that watch the videos. And if you want to support the channel, a great way to do it is just watch the video through to the end. That supports the video as well because the YouTube algorithm likes that type of thing. People watching the content all the way through. And also the channel members on this YouTube channel, thank you very much for joining the channel. Recent members are Jez, Marion, and Merrick, who have joined over the last week or so to the channel, bringing the total up now to, I think, around 90 people, 90 subscribers, members of the channel. So thank you very much for that support there also. Now I'm going to go into the live chat. Let's see what's bubbling away there. Let's have a look. I'm seeing some familiar names. Let's have a look here. Let's have a look. We've got a super chat or here we have from Marcus. Thank you very much, Marcus. Regular contributor to the channel, of course. I'm sure Vox supporters are absolutely apoplectic. Is that apoplectic about the latest demographic statistics with those immigrants? Yes, because as we know, the Vox political party, one of their main one of their main policies, I should say. Is that the word I'm looking for? Policies or ideas, whatever you call it, when they try to attract voters, is an anti-immigration stance. Immigration brings more problems than it does benefits to Spain, according to the political party Vox, and a lot of people seem to agree with that for whatever reason. Personally, I don't. I think that immigration brings more good than harm, but sometimes not everyone would agree with that. But it is my opinion, coming from a multicultural country where I would say that it has been more beneficial than harmful. But again, just my opinion. Let me know yours. Andrew is in the chat as well. Regular viewer, valued member too, coming in from a cold and wet London. Janet, missing this evening in action, going to see the Spanish film Alcaraz at the local film club. Have a good live stream. Thanks for that, Janet. Enjoy the film. I'm sure when you watched the live stream, you would have already seen it, so I hope you enjoyed it. James, coming in from Worcester with Kathy, where once again snuggled up with the wood burner and a glass of red wine, hoping all is well. Yes, the old wood-burning fire, eh? Yes. And a nice glass of red wine. Great combination. T-O-L, coming in from El Puerto. Cooling down there, 18 degrees Celsius. Veterans Day to all the veterans all over the world. Yes, Veterans Day, of course it is. Hike Ranger coming in from Los Cristianos down there in Tenerife, the south of the island of Tenerife, where the weather is normally better than the north. That's what they say. Kathy coming in from Playa de Xeraco. A beautiful day there. Happy Veterans Day, says Kathy also. Good to see you, Kathy. Sani's in the chat, hoping we're well. Catching up on here later. Also, Sani catching up later. Diffie Dog. Haven't seen Diffie for a while. Always critical of the clothes that I wear is Diffie. Been a while. Yeah, Diffie. Popping in now just for a change. Still wearing the same clothes. Don't worry. My sponsorship is still there. Johnny coming in also catching up later too. So a lot of people catching up later this evening. Kev, evening all. Very broken tonight after IKEA for my brother. Assembled a bed, 4 under bed drawers, a wardrobe, 2 bedside cabinets and drawers, and did a bit of architrave? What's that? Replacement? Don't know what that is. Beer o'clock time. Thanks, Kev. Enjoy the beer. Amanda's coming in from Shropshire, also there in the United Kingdom. Shropshire. Barbara, somewhere in the Caribbean. St. Martin, to be exact. 80 degrees Fahrenheit there. I hope it's Fahrenheit. It says Celsius. But I imagine it's Fahrenheit. Because if it was 80 degrees Celsius, I don't think we'd be chatting, Barbara. I don't think so. So let us know. Diffie, speaking of chicken, why is there no red rooster in Spain? Because Spanish people don't like chicken the way that you probably do, Diffie, or probably the way I like chicken. We grow up with chicken. We grow up with red rooster. We grow up with chicken treat. We grow up with Kentucky Fried and other chicken franchises. Personally, I love chicken. A roast chicken, nothing better for me. Bring it on, but not here. You can get chickens, rotisserie chickens mainly, and people have it at the weekend. Marcus also agreeing that hopefully it's not 80 degrees Celsius for Barbara. We'll get some feedback from Barbara if it is 80 degrees Celsius or Fahrenheit, maybe, I think. Jose asking the question, Stu, any word on the 100% sales tax for non-EU? No, nothing yet. Nothing yet. This is one of these things that the Prime Minister throws out there, trying to get a response. Vox also mentioned something about this the other day as well, wanting to limit the amount of foreign buyers here in Spain, increasing taxes. I don't think they mentioned 100% sales tax, but it would be an extra sales tax for people from outside the EU. Erica, coldish but sunny Terrassa, where Erica is. Not surprised about Yorca becoming eligible in Valencia. Ghosts do come back over the years, so obviously he has a history, Mr. Yorca. Personally, I'm not really up to speed on Valencian politics. Living in Madrid, we don't really hear much unless there's a tragedy like the Dana, and it becomes central to everyone's lives. Diffie also saying, nice microphone, that one. Paying homage to John Laws. Golden tonsils passed away last week. Yes, Mr. Laws. If you come from the east coast of Australia, you're probably more familiar with Mr. Laws than if you come from where I come from. Of course, everybody knows who he is, but he wasn't dominating Perth radio, that's for sure. John Laws. Billy's in the chat, visited China several years ago. My advice for any European people is learn to speak Chinese, says Billy. Lima, ceviche heaven, according to Al. Yes, Peruvian food, I will say. I like it. Chucky, yep, South American food is delicious. When we are here, we miss the kids, but we miss good Mexican food right up there too. Still in Valencia, heading to rainy Porto, then back to California next month. Good luck, Chucky. Hope you are enjoying the Iberian Peninsula, as they call it, heading off to Porto in Portugal. Enjoy that too. Tom, coming in from Torrevieja, a quick hi. Thanks, Tom. Good to see you. Andres, valued member. Hello from La La Land. Been a long time since I've caught the live. How many immigrants are needed to cover the public retirement system coming deficit? A lot. Andres, that's all part of the issue here. The people that have been working in Spain all of their life expect a pension when they're retired. Of course, the state pension system relies on people to work to put into the system. And you get you should have a type of pyramid. I think the pyramid should be like that, where you have more people at the top. Well, I think it should be like that, right? So you got fewer people at the top retired, more people down the bottom, but the pyramid has become inverted, and that's what they're trying to correct, so that people can get their pensions, because, as I said, they've been promised it all of their lives. Nobody has encouraged them to save money. And if you do eventually retire and your pension isn't there, it's not going to be good. A bit of contrasting history. On November the 11th, World War I was a disaster at a human level in Europe and great economic boom for Spain. I do think of all those... Yeah, Jon, what's that? Thanks for that, Erica. Erica, Kev's a fan of controlled immigration, not just because I am one, but without it I would never have met my amazing wife. Yes, Kev, well, the figures are controlled immigration, of course. What else we got going on here? Barbara's corrected the Fahrenheit Celsius debate. Fahrenheit, thank heavens for that. Interesting evening again with Spanish news. Thanks, says Regina. Good to see you, Regina, coming in from, what is it, Estonia, is it? Or Latvia? One of those countries there, I think, in the Baltic area. Digi, greetings from the Tarragona region, from a Dutch person. I love the food reviews. Thanks, Digi, for that. I'll try and do some more. The problem is my time schedule at the moment. I'm doing something in the mornings that's taking up a lot of my time, so I don't know whether I'll be able to go to a restaurant this week or not. To another one. I'll see if I can sneak in for a late menu, if they'll serve after 3 p.m. I should be okay, but you never know. Tom saying, this is one reason Trump sarcastically said Spain was part of BRICS, considering his recent trips to India, Brazil, and several in China. Probably, Tom, that is correct. Yeah, Mr. Sanchez seems to be making his own path when it comes to these relationships, going against some of the other formations. Save money for retirement now, kids. Yes, but again, here in Spain, El Conquistador, the idea is that you give your money to the government and they hold it for you. Then when you retire, they give it back to you. That's been the process over the decades. But when there's that inverted pyramid concept, as I said before, where you have more people sitting at the top retired getting the pension and not enough people down the bottom putting into the system, that's when it starts to break down. No government in Spain will ever recognise that there's an issue there, because if they do, it'll cause a revolution, because people are not encouraged to spend money. They had a plan a couple of years ago to develop a private pension system. But now it's virtually useless. You can only contribute and get some type of tax deduction of, I think it's under 2,000 euros a year. It was a lot more before. So the idea is that low salaries, don't save, but pay a lot of money to the government. We'll hold it for you. Then when you retire, we'll pay you your pension, and therefore we will control you. That's the idea. And that's what people pay into here in Spain. So, yep, save money if you can. But for many people, it's not easy. On that sad note, I'm going to wrap this live stream up. It's been a pleasure. Until Thursday, when I'll be back again. Thanks for watching. Hasta luego. Hasta entonces. Adios. And bye-bye. Bye-bye. Whoop, back again.